So, welcome back to the Poets Cast.
Yay!
You mean welcome to?
Welcome to the Poets Cast. If it's your first time, I'm the name's Murph, Jay West, film gamer, and Miss Megan. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for
happy
joining us.
We're happy to be here. I am your host this time, and yeah, it should be a good time. You guys excited?
Yeah,
I am here.
it's coughing
I am
season.
present. So this time we have game shows. I wanted to talk about my favorite game show, and I also wanted to talk about like just the disappointment and accomplishments in our lives later on. So that's what we're gonna do.
Man, just that. I love you did this.
All
with
the
a
papers,
notepad.
all the papers are
Yeah.
connected.
There's no reason to do it at all.
Okay, so get
So
us started.
So I'll give you a few examples. Like back, so my parents have a family farm an hour west of, I guess it would be this way to the viewer, an hour west of London, Ontario, in a place called Newberry. And growing up there, I would do work with my dad on Saturdays, and then Sunday mornings I would always watch game shows. So I'd watch like Family Feud, Whammy, that was a good one.
I've never heard of Whammy.
Whammy and no whammy, stop.
Was that the name of the game show?
Yeah, it was called Whammy.
I've only heard that
saying?
I've never.
It was
Because Banker Man.
well,
Whammy.
Whammy, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. And
Actually, a childhood friend used to say, "Big money, no whammies,
no whammy, stop. Yeah, so that's from the game show.
Yeah.
But I will say, growing up and watching TV with my parents in the evenings, we never watched Jeopardy. I would have loved to watch Jeopardy. My mom loves Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel.
Yeah,
That's what they call it.
The oldies call it. Yeah.
But they didn't allow you to watch Jeopardy because it put you in too much jeopardy.
Yeah. Well, fucking, and it was interesting to me because I would have loved to watch Jeopardy. I feel like it would have taught me a lot of knowledge just about random facts and random things about the world. But my parents are not inclined in such ways. But my dad's more of a hard-working farming man. But yeah, I don't know.
Hard-working farmer.
What did pretty much. What game shows did you guys grow up watching? You remember?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
Starring Wink Yahoo. A video and arcade top 10 was probably like the first one that I watched, starring that guy Nick. I don't remember his last name.
Nick
Pankos or something?
I do remember specifically though, because that is so stuck in my head. Because at the end, no, not that.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the thing. He's like, "It's letter time. It's letter time," because he reads a letter from an audience member.
Yes.
But something I always remembered about video
and
arcade top 10. Thank you. Is that the footage they'd have of the kids playing was actually just looped footage of random gameplay.
It actually does sound.
And it's like, why are they having a hard time jumping on the first level?
Yeah.
It's so awful.
It had to do with video games, so I definitely watched it because I was like, I don't know, I was like,
I want to get on this.
So Video Arcade
exactly.
Top 10 was on YTV, and it was basically a game show where 4 kids would come and play a specific video game, and they would see how far they could get in the video game in order to win. Afterwards, they'd win a prize by pulling like a random ping pong ball and a number.
Yeah, and the number one prize was always Medieval Times.
Yeah.
And then there was a t-shirt. Yeah. And I'm like, the only other time I've heard somebody refer to Medieval Times aside from like stand-up was in the movie The Cable Guy and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've never been to Medieval Times. But I'll tell you about Video and Arcade.
I haven't.
I'll tell you about Video and Arcade Top 10. I still use their postal code as a fake postal code on internet websites. When it's you have to put in your postal code. I'm not putting in my real postal code for something that's never going to mail something to me. M5A 1V2. There you go.
Yeah, nice.
It's probably to a studio too.
Yeah.
But they're like, why are we keep getting these flyers for Canadian Tire?
Next time I go, I should visit that postal code and see what's up.
Yeah, just figure out where it is.
Yeah.
What about you, Miss Megan?
The Price is Right was a big one for me.
Yeah.
Because my Nana, she watched it when she lived with us. She watched that and she watched her
Her stories.
soap operas.
Yeah. Stories.
So that one was a big one.
This
and
is
then,
like Bob Barker's Price is Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Drew Carey didn't become Price is
Yeah,
Right
just
like
recently.
until like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's actually closer to 10 now.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
God.
Like
no.
yeah, it is.
That's awful.
That's crazy.
God, I'm old.
Sorry, continue.
So that was a big one, and then of course the Wheel of Fortune, and I watched Jeopardy. I was never really into it. It was kind of boring as for a kid.
Yeah, it's monotone.
Well, there was
like
Jeopardy Jr., wasn't there?
What?
Was
That was like
I feel like
Yeah,
that does
special
exist.
thing.
Yeah.
And Dean Cain
But
hosted
that was
it.
okay. But then other than that, I really liked watching like Japanese shows online
Like,
and stuff like that.
what's
'cause
that one?
Some of their game shows.
MXC.
Yeah, thank you.
They're just-
Yes.
They're so out there.
Let's get it
That's actually such a good point. When this topic got brought up, I was not even considering Japanese game shows, but they are some of the best
They're
things to talk about.
crazy.
Yeah.
They're
Uh,
next level.
Like, remember Bonsai? The betting game show that they tried on Spike TV?
No.
It was
I did
because
see a lot of game shows
MXC
on
came
TV.
from it, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that turned out to be such a big hit for them. So they, like, tried to double down on it in a way that was, like, they like missed the original. Because people like the dubbing. The dubbing was the fun. It wasn't even the Japanese culture bit was, like, a side part. But it was, like, so successful that the show on which it was based, Takeshi's Castle, they decided to do another version of it, like a revived and original version of it in Japan called Beat Takeshi, and like that's how it spawned. And then of course, like the people who made Wipeout were inspired by that,
Oh,
and then
Wipeout. Yeah, I
and
forgot
then the
about
people
Wipeout.
who-
Yeah, that was a big one.
and then the people who made the game Fall Guys were inspired by
Okay.
Wipeout.
Well,
And so that's how it cascaded.
I say this all the time, especially since I heard Aaron Hansen say it. Basically, art is iteration. It basically you'll see one thing, and then I used Forklift Simulator as an example. I think it was during our gameplay.
Yeah.
It was basically like someone picks up a box and they make, and they're like, "Oh, this is heavy," and then they're like, "We can do this better," and then they make a forklift, and then someone's like, "Oh, you have to be skilled to use that forklift," so they make a course to drive the forklift, and then someone's like, "Ooh, let's make a game to drive the forklift without doing any of that."
yeah.
So basically, I love that. It just compounds, and like I can't wait in I say 100 years, but I'm sure we are the 100 years from art.
Both when and
Yeah,
from.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, both when and from. Yeah.
The good example.
This it should be.
So
Sorry, what you were saying? Your Nana watched The Price is Right, and you were not into Jeopardy.
I was not into Jeopardy, and then Will mentioned Wipeout, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about Wipeout. And that was a big one.
I'm trying to think if there was any other Japanese game shows.
I mean, they had some. There are some weird ones.
No, I've actually watched some Japanese game shows.
Yeah.
So there's this. There is one that got brought to North America, and it ended up being awful because they took it too seriously. Where in Japan,
Oh yeah.
they would just get they would get reoccurring contestants because they'd get fan bases and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And that was called in North America. It's called Hole in the Wall,
Oh yeah, that one.
but in
yeah.
Japan, it was called Human Tetris.
Yeah. And that's way more exciting.
That just reminds me of The Floor is Hot Lava. You ever seen that game show?
Oh, yeah.
On Netflix. I
Yeah.
I watched it and enjoyed it way too much.
I watched like 2 episodes, and I was like, okay, The Floor is Hot Lava.
It was funny because that was coming out at the time where Netflix was had nothing content wise. So it's like, and it's like, I think it was either right after or right before Squid Game was coming out, which
Yeah.
itself is like basically inspired by the game show.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Well, Squid Game, it's funny you mentioned Squid Game. Because Squid Game
Oh, the reality show coming out.
was not the first show on
Version
Netflix
like that,
to
yeah.
actually do the whole death game stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't know is there was a live-action Japanese series based off of manga called Alice in Borderlands.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what
And
that is.
I also
watched.
yeah, we watched that a bit. I haven't watched the second season though.
I didn't know it was
been
like
out
game
for a
show,
while.
death game. or
Oh yeah,
game
it's
of
a death game thing,
Yeah.
not
Death
game show.
That's where it's at.
But like,
Death
yeah, I
game.
read the
Those are
manga.
best games.
Yeah, they are the
and
best
it's
games.
a really fucking cool
Twisted
show.
Metal, man. Twisted Metal was like
Yeah.
the death game of the 2000s.
Yeah.
They just came out with a series now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I mean. It's,
With a lot of soundtrack on it, by the way, to fill in
Oh, yeah.
the kind of crappy parts. But it's like that's the
When the
benefit
cars are
of
attacking
making
each
a
other.
movie with a Universal or a TV show, because it's like,
Right.
oh, this is kind of boring. Oh, like cool '90s song,
Yeah.
because like it's owned by Universal Music Group.
Yeah.
So it's like the fun parts, like maintaining funness in like a game show or whatever, is like the most essential part of it.
Yeah,
and a lot
right.
of these game shows kind of get to be too much work or too complicated. I remember there was one with William Shatner called Show Me the Money.
oh yeah.
And that lasted
And
for
it's
like a
crazy.
week, and I'm pretty sure nobody had any idea how to play. You know that episode of Friends where Joey's gonna host, be a game show host as like a gig, and they have the joke ends up being that the show is so complicated, but him and Ross and Chandler like experimentally play through it and get like so into it.
Yeah.
And then at the end he's like, oh, what you have to do is just go around here and do this and do that, and explains this big long story. He's like, and then you've been bamboozled. And then the show gets like canceled after they put all this work into it.
Oh,
But it's
man.
like simplicity,
Yeah.
like hole in the wall.
Well, there's been game shows
That's
around
the best.
for like a while, like right, like it's just competition pretty much at that point.
Yeah.
Like, from medieval times, like jousting and I don't know, throw the chicken in the hoop. I don't know what games they play.
What a
but-
game.
So
Don't get hepatitis.
Mhm.
I always
One-
lose that game.
one game
American
show that
Gladiators. That
American
was,
Gladiators, yes.
one game
Yeah.
show that I really like, and I guess it's not really a game show per se. I guess it'd probably be more in the direction of reality television, but it's still one of those competition things.
Yeah.
And it was on Netflix called The Circle.
Yes.
that was like a movie
Was
before
it
it went
the
on Netflix.
Weakest Link, or no? That was an actual.
Oh, so it's a
game show.
Netflix original. The Circle was the one where everybody's standing on the red dots.
Yeah, and it's like Russian roulette.
That is not
Oh,
The Circle.
Oh,
I
the
thought it
other
was-
Circle. See, because it's such a generic one.
There's so many game shows.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, go
So
ahead.
The Circle is this thing where several people are put into this big apartment building in several different
Oh yes.
apartments.
Okay, I know what you're talking
And then when they cannot communicate
Yeah.
or see each other,
They just
and so they message each other through a weird AI program,
Yeah.
Oh,
which
okay.
they claim was AI, but I
Yeah.
doubt it is.
Yeah.
That would message specific people, and they could only talk back and forth through text. And the idea was they wanted to see who could end up being the most popular amongst the people.
Yeah.
And you're also trying to weed out people who are catfish, because
Yeah.
catfish can also. You can go into this game pretending you're somebody else.
Yeah. And saying like, I'm a pilot or what happened.
Yes, that's the extent of catfishing.
Yeah.
I'm a pilot.
I'm a sexy three-titted pilot.
But like,
It's true.
I don't
Well then.
Look it up.
I don't get into
I don't
reality
think I want
television too much because it's a lot of the times it's a little too much,
It's
or
too
just
much.
Well,
it's very
there's
clear
Survivor.
how more staged
Yeah.
it is. than-
Well, that's actually becoming a thing, like right now, where apparently, because all these strikes are going on,
Mm.
people are like, the game show, reality show actors need a union because they're basically people who, like, they basically put you under a bunch of amount of alcohol, and if you say the wrong thing, you get screwed, and they want you to say outrageous things, but
Yeah.
at the same time, they'll also totally throw you under the bus if you say something wrong.
Yeah.
And now we're at the part where game shows and reality shows have been going on for like 20 years, where they get like Johnny Bananas back like a fifth time.
Yeah.
And then they start going on other game shows, so they have like weirdly regular reality game show personalities. So they're saying these people need to be protected, they need to join some sort of union now.
Yeah.
Because it's gotten so fake and rehearsed, and everybody knows what you're supposed to do, and one person's supposed to start fights, this and that. So, I mean, there used to not be that risk, people used to not care, but now it's like with game shows, it's like super overdone. Right?
So with this,
Excuse me.
that being said, I think The Circle was my big exception to reality television. That isn't.
Oh, so it was I was thinking for some reason it was fiction.
No, it was
No, it's a reality TV.
Like
Yeah.
we always
Yeah.
say, like reality
In
TV,
quotes,
right?
'cause-
Yeah.
You never know if it's horseshit or not.
Yeah.
Like, well, here's the thing.
Murder in Small Town X.
Yeah,
The way it works, the way reality is it starts real, and then they force you to redo things to the point that it's not real.
yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, oh, you can do that take better. So, but
That was great. Slap her again.
So
slap her again.
the way this show works, though, it was like 40 cameras in each apartment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like, so there were no people who are camera crew in the actual thing.
It's like
just
a low
the-
budget Big Brother. Don't leave your room.
But you're also trying to interact with these people
Yeah.
and see who's more popular. And it shockingly got really interesting when you were like, I really got to know this person. I love this person.
Yeah.
They're so nice.
God.
Though a catchphrase I got when you watch the show is, I was 100% me. That's something that came up a lot in the
Yo,
show.
I was 100% me.
But yeah, when the first season ended, I was like, I need more. And then Circle France came up, and I'm like, I'm watching it. And then I watched Circle France, and then it's
Was
like,
it in French?
oh yeah, it's only in French.
Oh yeah.
And then there was like, oh man, I need more Circle. Oh, the Circle Brazil just showed up.
Yes.
Woo! So like they just kept adding a new one for each country, and I was like, fuck yeah!
The Circle Russia.
It's kind of funny because it's like, how morally bankrupt are we going to get for a lot of these concepts? Because like there hasn't been really a lot of like innovation in terms of stuff that has come out. The one new one I've sort of heard about is like the Traitors, and they like that started off on
We've been wanting to
Peacock
watch
in the
Oh
US.
yeah, traitors. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
you meant traitors.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, to trade.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
the traders. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, and there's like it started off in UK, and now there's like
New
an American.
Zealand
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, my mom watches that show and says it's good. I always like the shows that were like The Mole. Like that was my favorite.
Oh man,
I love The Mole.
But
I
the thing
forgot
is, when they
about that.
they brought it back recently though, like very recently, and I didn't like the format at all because I felt that like on a lot of reality shows, it was too formulaic where it seemed like they were instructed to be stupid on purpose. Like, oh, here's a mysterious mailbox. What could this be? And it's like, well, it's obvious if you've seen Survivor, you know it's a thing. They go and answer. But then it's like, oh, 5 minutes of us wandering around wondering what this thing could be. It's like, I've seen reality shows before.
Could it be an immunity challenge?
Yeah.
No.
What I liked about the original Mole, which I thought was one of the funniest aspects of the show,
Yeah.
I'm picturing it, but I can't
was
see it in my mind.
Anderson Cooper, who
Yes.
hosted the
Yes,
show.
okay, yeah.
Every time they do a scene, because they, like I said, they do the retakes.
Yeah.
It would almost seem like Anderson Cooper was like omnipresent, because they would always do a retake where they'd have that person walk up a stairs, and then there's
Oh, yeah,
Anderson
he would be
Cooper
there.
sitting there, like eating a baguette or something like that for no reason.
Yeah, they go into
So,
like an impossible space, like at the bottom of the stairs, and then like you're saying, like he'd walk up, and then he would already be at the top of the stairs when they got there.
Yeah, like it looked like they were walking for miles, and then Anderson Cooper, like clean, not sweaty at all.
About
Like,
time.
Yeah, he's checking out his watch. Like it was so funny.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. This has been the Poets Cast. We kind of are ending abruptly, but oh yes.
Good
It's
job,
the way
Ricky.
it has to be.
You did a great
You're
Because
job.
we have, like in all game shows, we have to cut to a commercial break.
Yes.
And that commercial break sometimes never comes back.
It might be indefinite, yeah.
Yeah.
Until the next Poets Cast. So we hope you liked our Poets Cast. Leave a comment. Give us your favorite game show. Give us your best disappointment, worst accomplishment. You know.
Best disappointment.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Yes, and please put a like on this video. It helps us out a lot.
And
Don't forget to ring that bell.
Also, rate and review, because this might be on a podcast thing. So.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
If you want to see the live version, it'll be on. Or sorry, not the live version. If you want to see the people video version, the video version, yes, it'll be on YouTube. But we're gonna put it on some other podcasting websites and so on and so forth.
You're gonna love it. We're all gonna be famous, and none of us will be disappointed.
Yay!
Get famous.
See you guys.
Bye.